The hallway carpet was damp, but she hadn't spilled anything. At first Mira thought it was a trick of the light, one of those grayish distortions that sometimes appear when afternoon fades unevenly through old apartment windows. She stood at the mouth of the hallway and watched the fibers darken toward the center runner, a soft shadow soaking into beige. She stepped forward. The carpet yielded beneath her sock with a faint, unpleasant chill. Not wet enough to splash, just saturated, like fabric that had been breathing moisture for hours. Mira lifted her foot. The imprint remained darker than the rest, slowly fading, but not quite disappearing. A smell reached her then. Not mold, something softer, mineral, like rainwater caught in stone. She glanced toward the bathroom door at the end of the hall. Closed, silent. The ceiling above showed no stains. She crouched and pressed 2 fingers into the carpet. The pile separated easily, releasing a coldness that felt deeper than the floorboards should allow. When she lifted her fingers, they were damp, but clear. No color, no residue, just water. Her first thought was a pipe leak. But leaks spread downward. They didn't appear suddenly in the middle of a hallway like a memory surfacing. She stood and listened. The apartment was quiet in the way buildings are when neighbors are away. Distant plumbing sighs, occasional elevator cables whispering through concrete shafts. Outside, evening traffic hummed behind closed windows. Nothing dripping, nothing running. Still, the carpet felt colder the farther she walked down the hall, as if the dampness had its own center of gravity. Her footsteps made a muted sound, not quite a squish, more like breath pressed through cloth. SHFF, SHFF. The sound made her slow down. The hallway light flickered once above her head. The damp patch widened beneath her as she walked. She noticed it not because she saw it moving, but because dry carpet ahead of her darkened before she reached it, as though anticipating her step. She stopped. The darkening stopped. The silence felt suddenly attentive. Mira exhaled slowly and stepped backward. Behind her, the carpet remained damp. Ahead of her, the beige fibers lightened again. Her chest tightened. "Okay," she murmured to the empty apartment. "That's weird." Her voice seemed to disappear too quickly. She turned and walked into the living room, fetched a towel from the kitchen, and returned to the hallway. The damp area had spread another foot toward the bedroom door. She knelt and pressed the towel down. Cold seeped instantly through the cloth. When she lifted it, the towel was wet, but the carpet beneath looked unchanged. Still dark, still heavy with moisture, almost as if the water had refused to leave. Mira frowned and pressed harder, grinding the towel into the fibers. For a moment the carpet lightened. Then, slowly, the darkness bled back. Not spreading, remembering. Her skin prickled. The smell had changed slightly too. It carried something now beneath the mineral scent. Something warm and distant, like lake water left in sunlight. She sat back on her heels. A memory stirred without invitation. Summer, age 12. Standing ankle-deep at the edge of the reservoir outside her hometown, the mud soft between her toes. Her mother's voice calling from the shore. Mira blinked. The hallway felt colder. She stood quickly and dropped the towel. It landed with a soft, damp weight. Her sock shifted on the carpet. SHFF. The sound came again. But this time it wasn't just under her foot. Continued after she lifted it. SHFF. A slow compression. A step that wasn't hers. Mira froze. The damp carpet ahead of her darkened by a single oval shape. Then another beside it. 2 impressions forming in sequence, as though someone invisible had just walked past her toward the bathroom. The air felt heavier. She stared at the marks. They held for a moment, then softened, blending back into the soaked fabric. "No," she whispered. Her voice sounded small. She backed away until her shoulders touched the wall. The hallway light flickered again, dimming the edges of the corridor. More dampness crept outward along the carpet's length. Following the baseboards now, thin veins of darker fabric branching toward the bedroom. Not fast, deliberate, like spreading ink. Myra's breathing became shallow. She knew the apartment had been vacant for months before she moved in. The landlord had said it twice, as if vacancy were a selling point. Fresh paint, quiet neighbors, no history worth mentioning. But standing in the hallway now, Mira felt something else layered beneath the quiet, something patient and saturated. The carpet darkened near the bedroom door. Another footprint appeared, facing inward, then another beside it. Someone standing there, waiting. The temperature dropped sharply, a cool dampness brushing against her ankles. Water seeped farther down the hallway, threading through the fibers until it reached the living room threshold. Mira stepped forward despite herself. Each step triggered another faint compression in the carpet ahead of her. SHFF, SHFF, the unseen walker moving deeper into the bedroom, inviting or retreating. She reached the doorframe. The room beyond looked normal. Bed neatly made, evening light fading across the floorboards. But the carpet runner continued inside, and now it was completely dark. Soaked, the smell of lake water grew stronger. And underneath it, something else. A faint sweetness she recognized only after several seconds. Wet soil, summer mud, reservoir banks. Memories she hadn't touched in years surfaced without warning. The day her brother slipped from the rocks. The silence afterward. The long hours divers spent searching the water while her mother stood motionless on shore. Myra's stomach twisted. "No," she said again, louder. The carpet inside the bedroom shifted. Two damp impressions formed near the bed. Small ones, child-sized. They remained still, waiting. The water spread farther now, seeping outward from those shapes as if they were sources rather than footprints. Mira felt moisture brushing the fabric of her pants. She looked down. The hallway carpet behind her had darkened completely. The dampness had filled the corridor, erasing every dry patch she remembered walking across earlier. It looked older now, flattened, walked on for years, and faintly, almost imperceptibly, new impressions were forming along the length of it. Footsteps, many of them, some small, some adult, appearing and fading like remembered paths. The air carried a soft sound beneath the building's silence, breathing through fabric. SHFF, SHFF. Mira backed away from the bedroom door. The impressions near the bed shifted. One foot lifted, pressed closer. Water pooled deeper in its outline. Cold spread through the hallway runner toward her feet, following the direction of her retreat. Responding, remembering. She realized suddenly that the dampness had never come from above, or from pipes. It had risen from the carpet itself, as though the fabric had been waiting for footsteps to return, waiting for someone who recognized the smell of that water. Another footprint appeared in the hallway beside her. Small, bare, facing the same direction she was. Mira held her breath. For a long time, nothing moved. Then the carpet beneath both of them slowly darkened further, the moisture deepening until the fibers glistened faintly in the dim hallway light. The unseen foot beside hers pressed down once. SHFF. And Mira felt the floor below the carpet shift slightly, as if something beneath the apartment had finally found the place where her memories ended. Her phone kept vibrating, but there were no notifications. At first, Lena assumed it was the table. The small oak desk beside her bed had one uneven leg, and sometimes the slightest tremor. A passing truck outside, the elevator cables shuddering through the building, would make objects hum against its surface. But the vibration came again. A soft, deliberate BRRT. Her phone twitched against the wood. Lena rolled onto her side and reached for it. The screen lit her face with a pale rectangle of light. No notifications. No missed calls. The lock screen showed only the time. 1:12 a.m. Battery 64%. Everything normal. She turned the phone face down and closed her eyes again. For a few minutes, the apartment returned to its quiet nighttime rhythm. The refrigerator hummed faintly in the kitchen. Pipes clicked inside the walls as the building cooled. Then, BRRT. This one was longer. Lena opened her eyes. The phone slid a centimeter across the desk from the force of the vibration. She picked it up again. Nothing. No banners. No icons. She swiped down from the top. Still nothing. Her fingers hovered over the glass. The screen glow felt colder than usual, bluish against the dark room. Ghost notifications, she murmured. It happens sometimes with apps. Updates misfiring. Phantom alerts that never appeared. She unlocked the phone and checked messages. No new texts. No emails. The notification history was empty. Yet, as she stared at it, BRRT, the vibration happened in her hand. Not a quick buzz. Pattern. 2 short pulses. Pause. 1 long. The sound resonated faintly through her fingertips, like a trapped insect inside the device. But the screen didn't change. No alert appeared. Just the time. Now 1:14 a.m. Lena frowned and opened the settings menu. Maybe an app running in the background. Something glitching. The vibration came again. 2 short. 1 long. Her phone felt warm now. Warmer than it should be after sitting idle. She pressed the side button and locked the screen. Silence. For a moment. Then, BRRT. The phone vibrated again while locked. The desk carried the sound through the wood like a heartbeat. Lena sat up fully now. The apartment around her seemed suddenly larger and quieter, as though the phone's small sound had pushed the rest of the night farther away. She unlocked it again. The lock screen flickered. For a split second, she thought she saw a notification banner appear at the top, something gray and half-formed, but it vanished before she could read it. Her reflection hovered faintly in the glass. Eyes heavy with sleep, hair tangled. She stared at the blank notification bar. "Okay," she whispered. "What are you doing?" As if responding. BRRT. This time the screen flashed. A banner appeared. Unknown event. Timestamp. 3:02 p.m. Lena blinked. It disappeared instantly. She opened the notification center again. Nothing. Her chest tightened slightly. 3:02 p.m. That was earlier today. But she couldn't remember anything happening then. Her thumb hovered over the phone's call history. Empty since yesterday. The vibration came again. 3 pulses now. Short, short, short. Her stomach twisted. The phone screen flickered once more. Another banner appeared, longer this time. Memory access request. Timestamp. 3:02 p.m. Before she could tap it, the banner vanished. The room felt colder. Lena swung her legs over the side of the bed and stood. The floorboards creaked softly. Her phone vibrated again in her hand. Short, short, short. The pattern repeated like someone knocking gently from inside the glass. Her heart beat faster. She opened her messaging app. Still empty. Then the typing field filled itself. Not letters. Numbers. 15:02. She stared. That was the same time. 3:02 p.m. The phone vibrated again. The numbers erased themselves. Then new text appeared slowly, 1 character at a time. You were here. Lena's breath caught. Her fingers hovered above the screen. She hadn't typed anything. The cursor blinked patiently beneath the words. Then the message erased itself. The chat thread returned to blank. The phone vibrated again. This time the camera app opened on its own. The screen switched to the front-facing lens. Her face filled the display. But something about the lighting felt wrong. The room around her looked darker on the screen than it did in reality. Shadows stretched behind her shoulders. The camera trembled slightly in her hand. Another vibration. The screen flickered. For a fraction of a second, the image changed. Not her bedroom. A hallway. The perspective tilted downward, as if someone were holding the phone loosely while walking. Then it switched back to her reflection. Lena's throat tightened. "Stop," she said quietly. The phone vibrated again. Longer. The camera switched to video playback automatically. A file opened. Recorded. 15:02. Her pulse hammered in her ears. The video began. It showed her apartment, but not from where she stood. The camera moved slowly through the living room toward the hallway. The footage shook slightly with footsteps. Her footsteps, but Lena didn't remember recording it. The video continued down the hall. The timestamp in the corner read 15:02. The camera turned toward the bedroom door. The door was open. The camera hesitated there, then stepped inside. The frame tilted toward the bed, toward the desk, toward where her phone normally sat charging. But the phone wasn't there. The camera angle lowered slightly, as if someone had leaned closer. The video ended abruptly. The phone vibrated violently in Lena's hand. She nearly dropped it. The screen went dark. For a moment she thought the battery had died. Then the lock screen returned. But the time was wrong. 15:02. Her stomach dropped. Outside, a car passed on the street, headlights sliding briefly across the wall. The phone vibrated again. A notification finally appeared. A message thread she didn't recognize. No contact name, just a blank gray circle. The preview read, "You left something unfinished." Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside was a single message bubble. Timestamp, 15:02. Below it, a typing indicator appeared. 3 gray dots pulsing. Someone typing, but no message arrived. The dots stopped, then started again. Lena swallowed. "Who is this?" Her message sent. Immediately, the typing dots vanished. The phone vibrated once more. A new message appeared. "You asked to remember." The screen dimmed slightly, as though the brightness had adjusted to something behind her. Lena's skin prickled. Another message appeared. "So I did." The phone vibrated. The front camera activated again without warning. Her reflection appeared. Behind her, the hallway looked darker now. The shadows deeper. The phone vibrated again. Short, short, short. And on the screen, beneath the camera image, a final notification appeared. Timestamp, 15:02. Memory sync in progress. The phone vibrated again in the same steady rhythm. Lena realized slowly that the pulses matched her heartbeat. Or perhaps, her heartbeat had begun matching the phone. The screen brightened. The camera zoomed slightly, focusing past her shoulder, into the hallway behind her, where something in the darkness seemed to shift, just enough that the phone's vibration paused, as if waiting for her to turn around.